Well, good morning, Thailand. My name is Alex.
And I'm Jay.
And we are in the Christmas spirit because it is Wednesday, December 25th.
Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Now, we have some news updates from around the land of smiles for you today. But first, before we begin, please remember to subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a lot.
It does.
Now, today we will be talking about road safety crackdowns in Thailand, plans to downsize the military, and a little later, the problem of football hooliganism in Malaysia. But first, we're talking about happiness in Thailand and the challenges that it faced in 2024. A recent NIDA poll highlights that 2024 has tested Thailand's resilience with economic woes, political instability, and cybercrime as leading stressors. While about 40% of respondents felt fairly happy, over 40% expressed dissatisfaction, citing rising living costs, debt, and instability. Economic struggles topped concerns, with over half flagging declining incomes and quality of life. Cybersecurity and political turmoil followed closely, while corruption, traffic, and global tensions added to the discontent. Interestingly, Thailand still ranks among the top 50 countries in the World Happiness Report, with under 30s showcasing higher levels of joy.
Yeah. I would say Thai people are fairly content and happy with life, but not necessarily just happy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, like, don't mistake, Thai people are very nice and kind and courteous to each other, to foreigners visiting and things like that. That doesn't mean they don't have their own complaints and their own things to be upset about. So
You've got Finland and I think Iceland that are like, those happy meters, like top 3 ranking countries. Like they have, amazing healthcare, amazing education. Life in general is great. They get a lot of holidays. Like when you're studying in school, you only have to study for like 4 hours, or when your work days are like, I think 4 days off, 3 days on. It's very flexible. That's what gives them the joy of living life.
Yeah.
Thailand people are just extremely nice and polite and love their life while being shafted by corporations and life and just things in general.
Yeah, I've rarely met a Thai person who wasn't a pure hustler, like just trying to do a whole bunch of stuff because they feel that they have to.
Yeah.
And it is all about, at the end of the day, it's the work-life balance, being able to have a family and do all that stuff, yada yada. But anyways, hopefully 2025
nothing
brings
like
more
a Christmas Day spirit to increase the joy in them.
I'm telling you, this was the happiest story I could find, okay? Like, we got to yell at our writers because this is rough stuff today, I'm telling you.
All right.
All right, moving on.
Moving on to our next story. The Thai government tackles a festive road safety. It's festive season here in Thailand, and Thailand's Don't Drink and Drive, Get Home Safely campaign aims to reduce road accidents during New Year celebrations, focusing on sobriety, checkpoints, public service announcements, and increased police patrols. However, critics highlight significant changes: Thailand's social drinking culture, inconsistent law enforcement, and limited public transport outside of Bangkok especially. Many revelers face high taxi costs or lack alternatives, while peer pressure and overconfidence in driving abilities worsen the problem. Public skepticism about government initiatives adds another layer of difficulty. Experts emphasize the need for stricter enforcement, better transport infrastructure, and cultural change to ensure safer.
But yeah, this is it's a big thing. Like, I like the saying, like, overconfidence in your driving abilities. Yeah, like the drunker you are, the more confident you're gonna be. Like, I'm fine.
Don't drink and drive. Don't do it.
It just should be a hard rule.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and even look, I understand outside of Bangkok, even in other places, like it's still, you can get it right. Like, you can find a ride. It'll just be more expensive or something like that. So there is no excuse. I mean, the problem is a lot of people fear that there's not enough enforcement of this stuff.
There just isn't fear in the people growing up. I think it starts from young as well. Like, especially in Western culture, it's quite prevalent. Like, you don't drink and drive. I mean, sure, people do it, but a lot less compared to the people that do it here. And now you can also, by the way, if you are going out for the holiday season and you do get drunk and you don't want to drive back your bike or your car, you can actually get You Drink, I Drive. That's an app that calls a driver to pick up your car and drop you back home safely. You can also do it through Grab.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like that whole concept, because people get annoyed, like, oh, I don't want to leave my car here, and it's like, it doesn't matter. Safety is always paramount. So be careful out there, everybody, and don't drink and drive. It's that simple.
Don't do it.
Okay, well, it's Good morning, Thailand. So
yo.
I have to have at least one story about a crazy tourist doing something completely unashamedly unrepentant and rampaging somewhere. Let's get into it. Hong Kong tourist, that's who we're naming and shaming today, was restrained after a rampage near the Phuket airport. So, a 35-year-old Hong Kong tourist, Pun Keith Ka Chun, was restrained by Thai taxi drivers near Phuket International Airport after exhibiting violent behavior on December 23rd. Images shared by Phuket Times showed the man tied up and subdued by taxi drivers who were waiting for passengers. Pun had arrived on December 17th and reported a missing passport and mental health struggles to Saku police. Authorities arranged free accommodation for him while awaiting a temporary passport. That's pretty nice of them. However, his mental condition worsened, leading to the incident. The man was taken to a hospital for treatment, and no legal action was pursued. Nothing like a shirtless rampage in the streets of Phuket. Look, I'm glad that they're taking it from the mental health approach.
Yeah.
He had already said, like, hey, I'm not doing well. He lost his passport. It's annoying, I get it, but there's no reason to make that everybody else's problem. Especially when they're like giving you free accommodation. They're like, look, you can stay here. It's only a couple extra free nights in Phuket. You'll be fine. But I don't know, Hong Kong, another one of those high stress cities. Maybe he was late for work or something like that. It was going to be a thing.
And looking at the billboard sign, he's in the Bang Tao Chung Tale area. If you'd like to find out more information about the Chung Tale area, we've just recently made a very, very big project and video about the Chung Tale area.
Yeah,
So
check it out on YouTube.
Yeah, on Thaiger. Chung Tale Thaiger.
Indeed. That was a big project. All right. Well, on to our next story.
All right, well, on to our next story, where Thailand is to downsize armed forces and streamline military operations. Thailand's Defense Council has approved a military overhaul aimed at downsizing armed forces and halving senior roles to enhance efficiency and align with national strategies. A strategic roadmap spanning 2026 to 2037 will unify military efforts and reduce personnel by 5% by 2027. Early retirement programs will cut generals and senior officers by 50% by 2028. Key reforms include revising the Defense Act, modernizing voluntary enlistment, and shifting towards voluntary recruits for combat and support roles. The changes also emphasize disaster rescue capabilities and operational readiness. No doubt because of the Christmas spirit.
I mean, cuts in military spending, you almost never hear that from any country ever at any time. But it makes sense for a country like Thailand, which is so averse and so nimble diplomatically. And yeah, I mean, the money could be used for better efforts like for education, healthcare, that kind of thing. So good on them. Kudos to be able to make those cuts, because that is just unheard of in where I come from in America and many other countries around the world. Moving on. Next story. Another holiday story.
Yeah.
A festive car decoration has led to legal consequences in Bangkok. Now, a 29-year-old ride-sharing driver in Bangkok adorned his car with reindeer antlers and a red nose. Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
And Christmas lights to attract passengers during the holiday season. The decorations gained viral attention, amassing over 12 million views on TikTok. However, authorities cited him for violating Thailand's Motor Vehicle Act of 1979, buzzkill, which prohibits unauthorized vehicle modifications. He was fined 1,500 baht for altering the vehicle's lighting system and using non-compliant equipment. Police emphasized that such modifications can distract other drivers and compromise road safety.
No doubt. The police have a point, but let's just ignore all the motorbike drivers who break the red light, are speeding, who don't wear helmets.
Yeah, not to mention
and focus on the guy with the lights on his car.
Well, and we're talking about a place where there are very lit up and very loud tuk-tuks constantly all over the place that can be very distracting too. So, but it did seem like it would be not just distracting for the drivers, but even for himself. I don't know how you can even look out of that. That was a very adorned car. But anyways, slap on the wrist, 1,500 baht. Probably he got some 15 minutes of fame too. 12 million views. It's at least he got something out of it. But anyways, Damien asked, what about the truck's headlights? Indeed. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of distractions on the road. But you know what? I guess when something gets this much attention, the police have to do something about it.
Yeah.
Do your jobs, they say.
All right. Well, we're going to move on to our next story, which is regarding speed limits to improve road safety. Now, Bangkok has lowered the speed limit on most city roads from 80 kilometers to 60 kilometers an hour, effective immediately as part of a campaign to reduce road accidents. Exceptions include 13 major roads, like Vipavadi Rangsit and Bang Na, which retain the higher limit. Rural area roads have an even lower limit of 50 kilometers per hour with restrictions on honking and loud noises. Motorists exceeding the limit face fines of 200 to 1,000 baht. Under the Land Transport Act, authorities have clarified that speeding is the top cause of accidents and the measure aligns Bangkok with global city standards. Speed cameras will monitor compliance, aiming to enhance road safety and reduce crashes.
I mean, is anybody going that fast anyways in Bangkok? I just feel like there's always
with the traffic,
so much traffic. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough, I guess. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
You have to wonder, like, maybe if there is more, like, lower speed limits, maybe there's fewer accidents, which leads to less congestion. I don't know. I'm willing to try anything to try and make Bangkok's traffic a little bit better, but well, we'll see.
Yeah.
This is in the name of safety. I'm hoping it has some residual effects on the actual congestion of the city. All right. Well, anyways, that'll do it for our ASEAN section of the news, guys. Now we are heading... that's it for our Thailand section of the news. And we are going to head to the ASEAN section, where our first stop is in the Korean Peninsula. Now, North Korea is preparing military support for Russia amid rising tensions. Yeah, who knew? South Korea's military has detected signs of North Korea preparing to send additional troops and weapons, including quote-unquote suicide drones, to Russia to support its war in Ukraine. Pyongyang has already supplied rocket launchers and howitzers, with drones now being mass-produced under Kim Jong-un's orders. Approximately 12,000 North Korean troops are reportedly in Russia, with 1,100 casualties so far. These military ties strengthen Pyongyang's conventional forces, which remain a threat to Seoul. Recent provocations include electrified border fences, trash-filled balloons, sent to Seoul, and potential missile or nuclear tests in the near future. Classic North Korea doing North Korea things, I would say. In any case, we'll see if this actually amounts to anything. So North Korea, their entire economy is based on the military. Yeah. So when there is actually something for them to do, it's kind of like...
How would you know? Have you never seen the videos? They're happy down there.
Up there.
Same. Have you also noticed? I saw this one video of how the train door closes. Like, there's like a video of like North Koreans traveling in there. I think it was like a tram or like a train, and the way that their doors shut, it's just like deep, 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 deep.
Oh, just like
I was like, whoa!
It's like slams people in half or something like that. Oh, that's rough.
Because you've got like that 2 seconds to leave, otherwise
you're on to the next stop. Yeah, no, that's terrifying. Like many things in North Korea, I think. Well, anyways.
All right. We're going to move on to our next story, taking us down to Malaysia, as Malaysia hunts football hooligans after attack on Singapore fans. Now, Malaysian police are searching for up to 30 individuals involving a brawl following Malaysia's elimination from the AFF Cup. The altercation, which occurred near the Bandar Tasik Selatan LRT station, caused damage to a train but no injuries. Authorities using CCTV footage have identified suspects and plan arrests in the coming days. Police are investigating charges of rioting and public mischief. Youth and Sports Minister Hannah Yeoh condemned the incident, urging fans to respect public amenities, which are often extended for convenience on match days. It's a brawl out there.
Dude, this is what I always say about football is that, all right, the cadence of scoring, this is my problem with soccer. No offense to the people in the room and the people watching. You don't score enough goals. Okay?
Yeah, we do.
You don't get enough of a release of tension from the sport, which often leads to this culture of hooliganism. Just look at... I've seen Green Street hooligans. I know what you guys get up to over there in England. And that, I think, is the big problem. You're not scoring enough. You don't see this happen with, like, rugby fans or American football fans or play like Australian football. Yeah. Those kinds of things, it's not... It happens, but it's not as common as it appears with football.
Because it's so hard to score, that's why you celebrate so much more when they do score.
I believe that too, but No, look, not my sport. I'm sorry. I like all of the other.
You lost
kinds
me
of
when you said
football.
soccer.
You know, they say soccer in Australia too. That's why they're my people. What's up? Respect. AFL for life. Moving on, our next story. So
Yeah.
we got a little more military news. The Philippines is justifying its U.S. missile deployment amid China tensions, a tale as old as time. The Philippines has defended its deployment of the U.S. Typhoon missile system and plans to acquire its own mid-range missile capabilities, despite China's strong opposition. Defense Minister Gilberto Teodoro emphasized the country's sovereign right to enhance its defense and dismissed foreign vetoes. I mean, what right do they have? The Typhoon system, capable of targeting Chinese assets, was introduced for joint exercises earlier this year. The U.S. has no immediate plans to withdraw the system, which it is testing for regional conflict scenarios. China has called for its removal, warning against escalating tensions. Well, you know, like it's one of those things where China keeps testing the waters, like doing these incursions into the South China Sea, territorial waters of like Vietnam, Philippines, Taiwan, all of that stuff. And then they're like, hey, why are you guys building up your military systems? Like,
But they've got missiles and they need to use it, man.
I mean, you know, this is something that annoys me, obviously, how much money we spend on these missile systems and on the military in general. But
We, as in China, I knew it.
I mean, all humanity, I guess I would
all
say.
out. It's all out now. Associated yourself with the Communist Party.
I did no such thing. But are you even paying attention to what I'm saying, my friend? Like,
Maybe.
I am saying that we're all spending too much money. Like, but you can kind of understand the justification for it when these incursions keep happening. So, yeah. Anyways, no, this has been political news. We're a news channel. We got to do these, okay? Can't all be
All right.
drunk tourists making fools of themselves.
It's Christmas.
All right.
It's Christmas.
All
Alex.
right. All right.
All
Well,
right.
Anyways.
Moving on to some of our last stories, we're going to go to Vietnam as Vietnam's new internet law sparks free speech concerns. Free speech issues in Vietnam as Vietnam's Decree 147, effective December 25th, today on Christmas Day, mandates identity verification for social media users and obliges tech platforms like Facebook and TikTok to store user data, share it with authorities, and remove illegal content within 24 hours. Critics warn this will stifle dissent, expose anonymous critics to arrest, and promote self-censorship in the already restrictive communist state. The law builds on Vietnam's 2018 cybersecurity measures, drawing parallels to China's censorship model. Additionally, the decree imposes gaming restrictions for minors, limiting sessions to 1 hour per gaming session and no more than 180 minutes per day. Wow, Vietnam. I did not know those laws were that strict there.
Yeah, that is one hell of a crackdown right there. And gamers, rise up.
Yeah, 1 hour a game. What do you do? So at 60 minutes, the game shuts off?
Yes, apparently. And then only 180 minutes per day. So they're trying to make the gaming companies responsible for, all right, so you got to provide identification. How old are you? Now, for adults, you're still allowed to game as much as you want to.
Adults. Okay, so like
This is for
after
minors.
18.
Yeah, this is for children under
So
18.
no more professional gamers from Vietnam coming anytime soon.
Apparently
I guess.
not. Yeah, that's also. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing though. Like I spent a lot of time on games as a kid, and like maybe I should have read some more books.
Yeah.
But this is one of those things though where I feel like this should be a responsibility of the parent. But this is where in a lot of Eastern countries, there are a lot of those parental roles and those like the patriarchy of the system itself ends up reflecting in people's everyday lives, like in this case with these internet censorship laws and gaming restrictions. Tough stuff. I don't know. I'm glad I live in Thailand and I can game as much as I want.
Yeah. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Those were some of the stories from across Thailand and ASEAN. You can find more stories on thetiger.com, and you can join in the conversation
At ASEANnow.com.
That's right. Thailand's largest English forum. For now, we're going to dive into the live section and have a chat with our viewers.
All right.